What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American here today to react and learn all about what to know before you visit Norway. I think this is a really great video. I think this is very important, no matter where you're visiting in the world. But I happen to have been learning a lot about Norway, social customs, etiquette. There are a lot of things that I've picked up on that are very important to know. If you were someone, a tourist or a foreigner moving to Norway, going to Norway, there's a lot of stuff you should know, like how to interact with people, what's socially acceptable, because from what I've seen, the United States, where I live, is incredibly, surprisingly, very different in very unique, subtle ways, what's acceptable and what's not. So I'm very interested in this video to see what he has to say about the stuff you should know before visiting Norway, because I think this kind of thing is very important and very interesting to learn about. No matter where you go in the world, before you just jump in, it's helpful to know, some critical, crucial little details about, how the culture is, what's going on. It's very helpful and, just good knowledge to have, to be worldly. Anyway, I'm ready to be worldly, so let's take a look.
And today what we have for you are some of the differences that you should know between Norway and the US, so you're more prepared for when you do come to Norway to visit Oslo or Bergen and see the fjords and things like that. So let's get started. Now the first thing you should know is about the language. Now here in Norway they speak Norwegian, which is similar to Swedish and Danish, but it is very much a different language. You might understand a few words if you say them out loud, but in general you're going to have a tough time with Norwegian. But don't worry.
Oh my goodness, tell me about it. From what I have learned and heard in Norwegian, is some of the pronunciation is extraordinarily hard for me. I can't even read it, even if it's written out in front of me. I can't say it correctly. It's kind of funny. It's very unique language.
Don't worry, people here speak English very well, so you'll be okay. All right, so that's the first thing. You don't have to worry about the language barrier. You'll be all right.
That actually is huge. That's important for Americans to know. If you go to Norway, you are in luck. Norwegians are very, very, very good at speaking English. It's quite amazing.
Now the second thing you should know about when you come here is the money. What money do I use? They are not in the European Union here. They do not use the euro. They use the Norwegian krona or crown. And when you look at it, if you're going to put it in your thing, what is USD to whatever, it's NOK. But when they put the money down, the prices down, they put a KR next to it. So if it's 500 krona, it's 500 KR.
Yeah, this surprised me. I had no idea that Norway had its own currency. That was very surprising to me. I had no idea. But then again, I would imagine most Americans have literally no idea about that kind of stuff all over the world, honestly.
Okay? Now, if you're looking at the kind of money you'll be playing with and when you are here, most of the time you're going to be using your credit card, and make sure you have a PIN number for that credit card. I can't tell you how many times, like, PIN number, please. Now, most of the times you can sign, but just know it's just going to be a lot easier if you have a PIN number for your credit cards. Now, if you want to go get money out from the bank, the ATM is called a mini bank, so it's kind of funny. It's like, oh, a mini bank, how cute. Yes, and they're all over the place in cities. You'll be fine. Now, if you're going to the fjords and things like that, it might be a little more.
A mini bank? Hold on.
The bank, the ATM is called a mini bank, so it's kind of funny. It's like, oh.
It is kind of funny.
A mini bank, how cute. Yes, and they're all over the place in cities. You'll be fine. Now, if you're going to the fjords and things like that, it might be a little more difficult to find.
Oh, there's usually an English option, he says. Yeah, at the bottom there's usually an English option. That's very nice. I imagine at least in Oslo and parts of Norway, there's so much tourism that it would make sense to have all the English stuff. It's very fortunate for Americans, I gotta say.
Cities, you'll be fine. Now, if you're going to the fjords and things like that, it might be a little more difficult to find. But don't worry, pretty much most of the places will take credit card anyway, so you'll be all right. But if you go and you get money out, if you're looking at the bills come in at 50 krona, 100 krona, 200 krona, 500 krona, and once in a blue moon, you'll see a 1,000 crown note. But the thing is, if someone gives you a 1,000 krona note...
1,000 krona? So that's equal to what? 1,000 KR to USD would be, oh, no, krone? Maybe I should spell it out. 1,000 krone. Yeah, $100. Yeah, that can happen in the United States where when you bring 1,000 krona or $100 bill out, especially in the United States, people either won't accept it at all because they think it's fake or counterfeit. That's actually, yeah, you do not see $100 bills used commonly in the United States.
Once in a blue moon, you'll see 1,000 crown note. But the thing is, if someone gives you 1,000 krona note, tell them, no, I don't want it. I want 2 500s. Because some places will be like, I'm sorry, I don't know if that's real. So be careful with that one, okay? But most likely, you're never going to see it. So in terms of the coins, you have a 1 krona coin, a 5 krona coin, a 10 krona coin, and a 20 krona coin.
The Norwegian coins are so cool, by the way. So much better than the coins in the United States. So much cooler looking. They have holes in them. They're just cooler.
So you have those when you're out here. You'll be fine with those, and you can pay with for your hot dogs and stuff like that when you are here. Now, the next thing you want to look at is in terms of prices. Now, one of the big things you should know is Norway is not cheap. This is a very expensive place. Going to get a beer at a bar can be between $10 and $20 for a beer, depending on the exchange rate. Or sorry,
what?
It's kind of between Sweden and Denmark in terms of where it kind of falls. But it is expensive when you come here.
Whoa. $10 and $20 for a beer. Is that an exaggeration? That's like 200 krona? $20 for a beer? No way.
You're going out to eat. I mean, you understand why people eat like takeaway pizza and hot dogs, because it's so expensive to go out and eat here, but it is really expensive no matter where you go.
Oh, that he said, but the hot dogs are really good. That's true. I've seen some videos on the hot dogs. The sausages, the reindeer sausages, they are surprisingly cheap. Even though they're probably some of the most desirable food for tourists. So that actually is kind of nice.
Pizza and hot dogs, because it's so expensive to go out and eat here, but it is really expensive no matter where you go. I would say it's about 30% more expensive here in Norway than it is in the US, so just be prepared for that for going out to eat, hotels, transportation, all these kind of things.
This is something I have heard before, so I think it's probably pretty accurate. 30% more expensive in Norway. But I imagine people in Norway earn more on average. So it kind of offsets itself a bit if you live in Norway, if you have a good job there.
It's expensive. You want to go see the fjords in Bergen from here, you're going to pay a pretty penny, okay? Now, usually what we're going to be spending most of our money is when we actually go eat. And lots of people ask, Mark, what should I eat when I go there? Well, if you want to have traditional food, reindeer and elk and salmon, those are the big things here.
Cinnamon rolls? He said cinnamon rolls here.
Traditional food.
Cinnamon rolls. Kvikk lunch. Is Norway known for cinnamon rolls somehow?
You gotta have a quick lunch or quick lunch. It's basically.
What's this? Some kind of chocolate. Kit Kat. Vin Norges. What is this? Some kind of dessert? I've never seen this. It looks like a Kit Kat.
Basically their version of Kit Kat. It's actually pretty good. You should try that when you're here. Okay.
There you go.
But in terms of when you go out to eat, do I tip? Yes, you do tip when you are here. 5 to 10% is fine. 10%, if they saved you from choking, you can give them 10%. But 5-6%.
Okay. I actually wasn't sure if you're supposed to tip in Norway. I don't know if I'd ever learned about that. So you do tip? But very, 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 very little? Huh. That is only 5%. In America, tipping is so common. Such a part of life. And it'd be rude to not tip like 15 or 20%. It'd be rude if you didn't. That's interesting.
You're totally okay with that kind of tipping. Now, in terms of what you're going to do, now, like I said, beer is very expensive, $10, $12, $15 for a beer. They do have a state control monopoly on alcohol, so if you want to get something more stronger or some wine or something like that, you will have to go to the local monopoly place that runs the wine selling, so you do have to deal with that. But if you go to bars and stuff like that, you can get beer, no problem, wine, no problem. The bars will be fine, but if you want to get something for home, well, then you got to go to a special store for that. In terms of if we're going to go shopping.
Wow, there's a lot more things unique to Norway than I thought. This list has a lot of stuff on it. That's all true. All very different than the United States.
Hours here, basically, they're normal European hours. You know, they're closed on Sunday, closed a little bit earlier on Saturday, and one day a week they're a little bit longer. I think Thursday.
Wait, every store is closed on Sunday? All stores? All stores? Not just alcohol. Wait.
In terms of if we're going to go shopping hours here, basically, they're normal European hours. You know, they're closed on Sunday, closed a little bit earlier on Saturday, and one day a week they're a little bit longer. I think Thursday sometimes.
Oh, is that normal in Europe? I didn't know that. Is that standard? Man, I'm so uncultured. I don't know anything about this. Okay, I guess you just get used to it.
Times are longer, but you want to get your shopping done by 6, some places 8, but just know that shopping is going to be done during the day. Okay.
Yeah.
Another thing you should know, museums sometimes will have extended hours in the summertime because that's when the tourists are coming. They'll go from 4 to 6 o'clock or maybe from 6 to 8 o'clock. So just be paying attention for that.
Okay.
Now, if you are going to be coming here, you're going to want to take pictures like I'm making in my videos, and you have to have your plugs. Now, the plugs here are just like in mainland Europe, the 2 circle plugs that go in.
Oh, the plugs, right. Yeah, but Norway, this is like a European plug, right? Okay, I'm sure they have adapters and stuff.
Versus the U.S. where the 2 straight plugs. You know, your converters are on your phone and your tablets and your computers, so you're okay there. So you don't have to worry about it blowing up, and going up in flames like a Viking king kind of thing. Don't worry about that. Just know the plugs are the circle plugs when you come here. In terms of transport, the public transport here in Norway is very good. It's efficient, but it is expensive. And what you need to realize is when you look and say, oh, that shouldn't take that long, it will.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, Norway is really, really progressive with the electric vehicles, right? There's a lot of electric vehicles. So, yeah, that's like one of the most cool parts about Norway. How it's like adapting. It's very futuristic. It's very cool. And policies like adapt and change very quickly to accommodate like the new world. It's great.
It will take longer here because of the fjords and the terrain here. It does take longer than you expect to drive places or take the train places or the bus places. So just be prepared for that and have that planned out in your days, okay? Now, next thing I want to talk about is in terms of dress. I'm here in the end of May, and it's cool. I mean, it's in the 40s at night, so like, 6 Celsius at night, and in the low 60s, high 50s during the day at the end of May. It is chilly here, and so what I recommend is make sure you can layer up, have your hooded sweatshirt and your jacket and things like that, so if the sun does come out, it does get pretty beautiful. Sunblock would have been nice for me the other day. Whoops. But just know it is chilly here. In the winter, it's very cold. Okay. But if you come in the winter, the 2 things you should do in the winter here is skiing and see the northern lights. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it makes it hard to decide. Is it better to come to Norway when it's just winter and experience the Norwegian winter? Or to come in the summer when it's kind of like the most mild summer ever, but it's not like super cold? I don't know, it's like 2 different experiences. Plus you could go skiing on the snow. I don't know, that's a tough one.
Okay, another thing to do when you're here is go and take a tour and go see the fjords. They're just gorgeous here. Take my word for it, okay? And the last thing I want to talk about is safety. Norway is very safe. You do not have to worry about things. Obviously, pay attention. Late night in Oslo, you might be some drunk people around, or in Bergen and stuff like that. Some beggars here and there, but nothing's really that bad. And Norway is a very safe place to go.
Wow, that's probably one of the biggest differences to the United States, especially big cities in the United States. I don't think anyone would call the United States like, oh, this is one of the safest places. No. Your stuff can get stolen. In certain cities, they'll break into your car. That's not that common, but it does happen. Crime, So it does sound like Norway is like kind of like this paradise, this safe where everyone kind of gets it. It always comes across like that. So makes sense. Very safe there. You can actually leave your purse probably on the table and don't expect it to get stolen if you forget it for 5 minutes or something, right?
That's why, and in general, Scandinavia is very safe. That's why I recommend to people, hey, if you want to go to a foreign country, they don't speak English as a native language, go anywhere in Scandinavia, you're going to be okay because it's safe, and most of the people speak English. So I hope that helps you give a few ideas.
Look at all these people in the background. They're like, what the heck is this guy doing?
Differences between the U.S. and Norway, so you can enjoy Norway more when you come. You can see cool architecture like this at the Norwegian Folk Museum here in Oslo. If you want to learn more, 5 things you're going to love and hate about coming to Norway, what to see and do in Oslo, 5 things that'll shock you about Norway, check us out on our website at Walters.
Okay. All right. I think that's it. That was very good. This was by Walter's World. I gotta give that a like, for sure. What are the comments saying? Sometimes the comments have some interesting stuff, but I did enjoy this video. What are you saying? Money, yes. Prices, the tipping, the 5% tipping surprised me. Food, oh, how everything's expensive, right? Yeah, these are things you should know before visiting Norway. I agree with these. The plugs, what time of year to come, how cold, the dress. Okay. What do some comments say? I've lived in Norway my whole life and never heard of anyone reacting to a 1,000 kroner note with disbelief. Really? Because in the United States, people are really suspicious when you have a $100 bill, which is kind of equivalent to the $1,000 krone. So that's definitely different. People in Norway are just more trusting, I'm guessing, because like we said at the end, the safety in crime is so much less that people don't have to worry about counterfeit money so much, right? Useful stuff for foreigners. Oh, perfect. If you're staying more than a weekend, buy and make your own food. Eating at a restaurant in Norway is expensive. Makes sense. If you want to party, Norwegians party. Only on Fridays and Saturdays. All right. It's common to pre-drink, then go out to the city. Won't get lively till 11. Sounds a lot like the United States, actually. Oh, wow. This guy wrote out a bunch of stuff. Goodness. Wi-Fi's common. Norwegians love to speak to foreigners, but are afraid to make contact unless they're drunk. Okay. Don't slap your kid. Yeah, I mean, you shouldn't slap your kid anywhere. You will be arrested. Okay. Honestly, it's probably for the best. Cops and other officials are generally trustworthy and polite. Yeah, that's kind of directed right at America, where the average trust in police has gone way down. So that is actually somewhat relevant. Hello is hello. Right, I just learned about that in a video not too long ago. Hello. Very easy for an American to learn that, at least. Don't tip in Norway? We actually pay our servers? Now I'm just confused. Are you supposed to tip in Norway or not? Huh. What does Google say? Do you tip in Norway? No tipping in Norway. Okay. You know, if Google says it, then I obey. Okay. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I agree with these. These are actually things that would be very helpful for anyone going to Norway, because Americans act real different, or at least you got to be on your toes. But there are certain things here where you definitely want to be aware of before going to Norway. But like I said, for anywhere in the world, you want to be aware of the culture so that you don't go and do something embarrassing or disrespectful. Most importantly, you don't want to be disrespectful. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, feel free to give it a like or leave a comment. And if you're looking for more reaction videos, more content, me and my twin brother have actually started doing reactions together. There should be a link right here floating next to me that you can click for more fun reaction videos, more content. If you're interested in that, take a look. You might enjoy it. And until then, thank you for watching, and see you next time.